Hello friends, welcome back to another Stitch with me. My name is Jade. I'm known as the 310 Stitcher here on FlossTube and also Instagram and Facebook. I hope that you have your stitching with you or whatever it is that you're going to be doing, knitting, crocheting, whatever, and you're ready to have some stitchy time. So I am going to be working on Merry Mushroom Village 1, Merry Mushroom Village 1, which is a snippet of Merry Mushroom Village Picnic by Amy Stewart. This is the 2024 Heaven and Earth Design Cell. It was released in quarters, and all 4 quarters have been released now. They released the quarter 4 a little bit early, just by a couple of days, 2 or 3 days. Anyway, so we have all 4 quarters. I have only completed quarter 1 and 2. So quarter 1 was this row across the top. Quarter 2 was these pages down here. Oh, actually, I think quarter 2 also included this last page up here. But anyway, and now quarter 3. Quarter 3 is these pages across the top, across here in the middle, and then quarter 4 is just a couple of rows along the bottom, as far as I can tell. I have, I'm just going to start here as I'm talking. I have skipped quarter 3 completely because I hadn't started it at all. I just finished quarter 2 last week, and I had just uploaded quarter 3, marked off all the stitches that I had completed already, and was about to start. And then when quarter 4 came out, I thought, well, I might as well do that with the entire chart, not just another section of it. So yes, I'm doing the last 2 rows along the bottom. And I don't have, as you can see, this is not taut. I don't have the, oh, I can't even move it. Darn it. I don't have the fabric very taut here. Yeah, well, it's only for a couple of rows, I guess. Anyway, so how are you guys all doing? I'm doing well. Today is Monday, September the 30th. Today's a holiday for me, or it's a day off work. Today is the National Truth and Reconciliation Day. In recognition of all of the struggles and trauma and whatnot that our Indigenous people went through. Anyway, so I thought that I would start off my day gently, did a little bit of meditation, and having my coffee, and I thought that I would do some stitching. After my stitching is over, I'm going to go clean my house. We were away for the weekend. We went to the cottage, or the cabin for all of you non-Ontario folks. And so that was kind of relaxing and not relaxing. It's always relaxing to be at the cabin. It's just a beautiful place. It's one of my favorite places in the world. I'm just going to end this thread here. But we also ended up closing it up for the season. So there was a lot of work. Oops, sorry for jostling you there. I was just looking for my scissors. Yes, there's a lot of work to be done to close it up for the season. I'm hoping that we go up there this winter at some point, once the ice is fully in. Just gonna mark off the stitches that I've done. Our cabin is on an island, so we're pretty much out of there now until the water freezes over. So it'll probably be, I mean, it depends on the weather, I guess, or not, I guess. It does depend on the weather and the temperatures in particular. So we probably won't get in there again until probably January. It's been rare that we've been able to get in there before Christmas. The temperatures just aren't there yet. Okay, I'm just looking for where these other stitches are, and I think they're, well, okay, maybe I can do this. Okay, one sec here. I have to do a little bit of counting here, but it shouldn't be too bad. Let me move my couple of parked threads here, which I'll take care of next, I think. Okay, so bottom row here, and it's, okay, so not there, I'll skip that whole 10, and then it's 5 from this side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I really wish I could have got this a little bit more taut. If it continues to bug me, I will take it out of the frame and redo it. And 1, 2, 3, 4. If you've been here before, then you know that I like to color complete where I can. It doesn't mean color completing the entire piece, although I am doing that on a couple of projects. But I do like to finish the thread on my needle. So I will move around if I need to. Let me make sure you guys are still on camera. Yeah, okay. Sorry you guys are at the edge, but I am near the bottom of the Q-snap. I will, I'll move up soon. Okay, I'll move up to this page over here. I love, it's just like a fresh page in a brand new notebook for me. I love starting a new page. It's not just a new project for me. I just love starting a new page. I don't know why that is. I just find it I find it inspiring, and I think I just messed up. Hang on a sec here. I did. Okay, how did I do that? 1, 2, oh, that's why. Wouldn't be me if I didn't make mistakes. Oops. All right. I was trying to back out, but that isn't gonna work. So come on. And that's the one that's wrong. Okay. Yeah, so I love starting a new page when I'm writing something. I love starting a new page when I'm cross stitching. I find it very inspiring. And actually, this one was incorrect as well. Oh well, I guess at least I figured it out pretty quick. And then it's 3 and 3. I recently, there was a period of time where I was learning calligraphy. Not that well, a couple of years ago, I guess. I think it was during COVID. I was trying to learn calligraphy, and I got into oh my gosh, what are they called? Calligraphy pens? Is that what they're called? No, fountain pens. That's what they're called. I got into fountain pens, and then I discovered cross stitch. So my fountain pens took a bit of a break, and I came back to them a few weeks ago. I'm not sure how. I think one of my friends had just started getting into them, and that sort of rekindled my love of them. And came back to them, and I guess they were all plugged up, or partly they were also empty, which I thought was strange, because I don't think that I had finished all of the ink that was in them. So I have to do a little research. I'm not sure whether the ink actually, like, I know it can dry out, but does it actually evaporate? Because I had 3 that were completely empty. Anyway, okay, those are done. Come over here. Yeah, so I had 3 that were completely empty. Anyway, so I had to spend some time to unclog them, run them under hot water, unclog them, and put new cartridges in a couple, because I still have some cartridges for them. But I also bought ink converters, so that they're kind of refillable cartridges, because I do have ink, little bottles of ink of different colors. so that I can just refill them. It's a little, I know it's not a lot of plastic, but it's still a little bit more environmentally friendly. The jars of ink are glass, so they can be recycled, I believe. Anyway, what other hobbies do you guys have? What hobbies did you have before cross stitch took over, if you had any? I've had a few, and several of them I'm finally coming back to. I think just because I don't know. I guess well, I mean, they're hobbies that I love, obviously, or I wouldn't be doing them. And they were hobbies that I loved doing, like, a lot. And then I found cross stitching, and then I was all into the cross stitching. And it didn't really leave much time for anything else. So those things for me are knitting, crocheting, and calligraphy. And the knitting has been very sporadic for me. I haven't touched crochet in quite some time now, but I want to. I have to get back to my son's blanket. I really do want to finish that, and it's embarrassing that it hasn't been finished yet. Luckily my son, the plan was so I made I crocheted a blanket for my daughter for when she went off to college, so she had something from home from me. And the plan was to do the same for my son. But what let me off the hook a little was that he ended up going to college here in town, and he did not want to stay in residence. He wanted to stay at home. So that kind of let me off the hook in terms of a deadline for finishing the blanket. And if you know anything about, hang on a second. If you know anything about ADHD, you know that we function best with deadlines. Everything is done at the last minute. If we don't have the pressure of a deadline, we just can't seem to focus enough. And that's been my issue. So the blanket has been beside my, in the living room, right next to my chair, my knitting chair / recliner. Okay, hold on a second. Let me just, so 1, 2, and yeah, and I haven't touched it. So I really, and then of course, then it was summer, so it's way too hot to crochet a wool blanket in the summer, because the majority of it sits on your lap, right? So that wasn't happening. Okay, hold on here. Yes, that wasn't happening. And we are still, I think I'm doing wrong. Hang on, 1 sec. Let me just shut up for a minute. Hold, please. Okay. I was getting confused because I hadn't marked anything off for a little bit. For anyone who has not been here before, I was sick for a couple of years. There's something going on between my brain and my eyes. They were not cooperating together. And I'm still going to vision therapy for them. Oops. So going to vision therapy to correct it, and I've finally started making a lot of progress, which is great. We're doing all these exercises, and it's funny, one of them I was so excited about because do you guys remember in the 80s, for those of you who are old enough, in the 80s, these things were all the rage. They were all those posters that were like almost like scattergraphs. Like they looked like just blotches of different colors. But there was a 3D image in them. Okay, I have never in my life been able to see those. Never, ever, ever. Even when I wasn't having issues with my eyes. And that was one of the exercises that I've had to do for my eyes this time. And I'm playing yarn chicken. I'm playing thread chicken here. Just want to do a couple more because that'll be the end of this little square or little rectangle. Anyways, I've never been able to do those. And I was so excited because last week I was finally able to see one. Oh. Come on. I'm just going to park this up here for now. Yeah, I'm going to park it up here. No. Okay. Hold please. I just need to see the bottom. If you guys could see all this stuff in front of me. I don't know how people do this. Like, honest, well, I mean, obviously I am doing it. And what I mean is these Stitch With Me's, but you have all this stuff in front of you and it's just, it makes it a little awkward to actually try and stitch. Okay, I'm gonna, come on now. Let's try this again. Anyway, I forget what I was saying. I think it was about my brain connection and the 3D stuff. Okay. All right, so let me mark these off. And what I'm going to do is go to... Oh, no. You know what I didn't transfer over? I didn't transfer over these parked threads. Okay. that's okay. This should be pretty easy. So we're at, so 1, 2, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's 9, 3, 8. Yep, that looks like 9, 3, 8. Okay. Let me just cut this. All right. Anyway, still, working away at the vision stuff, and it's great. I've definitely been, so my therapist went on maternity leave, so now I'm actually dealing with the optometrist herself, and I have actually made much more progress with her. Not to say that things weren't working with the therapist. She was great, and I made huge progress with her. And I think now that things are on the mend, I think progress is going a little quicker, which would be great. It's not covered. It isn't covered by my health insurance, so it's not a cheap endeavor, unfortunately. But until I get through this, I'm still going to have some of these issues with my eyes and with my headaches, because it does result in some migraine issues, which I'm also struggling with. So anyways, migraines suck, guys. Did I screw this up again? See, this is my issue, and I totally did. Oh my gosh. Okay. So you're seeing my brain-eye coordination up close and personal here, because between looking at the screen to see where I have to do my stitches and then looking back at the fabric here, things are just not coordinating, and I keep looking at the wrong thing. Okay. Oh well. It is what it is. I'm gonna take another a sip of coffee here. Kleenex. Okay. So let me know what you guys are working on. Okay, so I am 1 square too far over. Okay, I should be in the 1, 2, 3 third square. 1, 2. There we go. What are you guys working on? Let me know. I love hearing about what you guys are working on and how it's coming along for you guys. I I always, when I get, when I get comments from you guys telling me what you're working on, if it's a chart that I don't know, I always go and search it up and have a look. So you guys are definitely enabling me as well, which is very fun. It's not just me going. It's not just one way. It's definitely a two-way street, which is fantastic. I'll talk about it in my next actual floss tube. Hold on, skip 3. 1, 2, 3. But there's been quite a number of charts that have actually, I don't even know if they have just come out or what the situation is. I just found out about them because I also watch FlossTube, and man, people are working on some gorgeous charts. And do I need any more charts? Nope. I definitely don't. I have more charts than I can probably complete in my lifetime now. But there are some that I just, and I'm trying to do this now. Hold on, I'm gonna have to park this, and I'm gonna park this up here. Scissors. So what I'm trying to do now is only buy charts that just make me go, oh my god, I need it right now. And if it doesn't give me that reaction, if it's just, oh, I really love that chart, but it's not one that I would want to start right this second, I'm trying not to buy it. But there was one very recently. I was watching Leanne Small Town Stitches. And I think it's called, she had just bought a chart, and I had to immediately go buy it. Okay, hold on a second. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. That one. Okay. And I had to immediately go get it. And this was this chart was called Sunset at Hogsmeade, and it is a gorgeous chart. You know, so obviously Hogsmeade, it's a Harry Potter themed chart, and it's not one that you would, I mean, other than what the name of it, the name obviously makes it known that it's a Harry Potter themed, but it's not one that you would look at if you didn't know the name of it. It's not one that you would say, oh, that's definitely Hogsmeade. But it just has that feel, and it's a very cool chart. So that was one that I was like, I need right now. So I purchased it. So that will be a start at some point. Oops, let me just see where I am here. Okay, there's a few more at the other end. So I'm gonna end this one. So I loved Harry Potter. I read the books at least a couple of times. I've watched the movies a few times, and I just love them. Much preferred the books to the movies, per usual. But I didn't have any Harry Potter themed stitching, which was odd. So, well, I shouldn't say that. I have a pattern. So I have the Stuart Cunningham Harry Potter Stitch Your Own Adventure pattern. And I don't know, I've tried to start that a couple of times, and I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just not the right time or what have you. Because I like watching, I like watching people who have done it or are in the process of doing that pattern. But I just didn't really feel like starting it myself. And maybe part of that is because you have to make decisions because it is a stitch your own adventure, right? So you have to make decisions about certain things. And I don't know that I don't know. I just don't know. Anyways, not for me. So while I have that pattern and may stitch it at some point, I don't have any other Harry Potter themed patterns. And actually, I think now that I'm thinking about it, that's a lie again, because I do have Lisa Parker's The Rusty Cauldron, which I think is, well, I mean, obviously it's the Rusty Cauldron, not the Leaky Cauldron, but it does give me Harry Potter vibes for the, yeah, it does give me Harry Potter vibes. And that one is definitely on my to-do list. Okay, one sec here. That one's on my new start wheel. And hopefully it gets drawn this year, because I'm dying to stitch it. So for those of you who maybe don't know or haven't watched my videos before, I put all of my patterns that I really want to start on a wheel on my phone. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And every 2 weeks I am spinning the wheel to select a new start. So that's every 2 weeks. And so far, I have, I guess, spun 4 different patterns. And only one of them has been a full coverage, and that's the one that I'm supposed to do this fortnight. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5. And I'm not 100% sure what it's called. I think it's, well, I have it marked down as the gazebo path, but it came from a magazine. I don't know which magazine, because somebody just sent me the pages. And then I scanned them in, and then I threw the pages out. Silly me, because I think I'm missing a page. Which, granted, is only a small, like, it's only about 500 or 600 stitches, so I could probably fudge it. That portion is mostly just grass and flowers and stuff, so I could probably fudge it or just put it into my pattern software and make it up. So we'll see. If you do have that magazine and you don't need that pattern, I would love to have page 21. Like I said, it's only a few 10 by 10 blocks. It's not very much. Anyway, I'm going to start it anyway. I have not started it yet. I may do that. Well, I don't know. Today I'm trying to catch up. Well, first of all, I have to catch up on house cleaning. I don't know about you guys, but I have to sorry, I am just looking at the mistakes that I made. Oh, these 2 stitches here should have been in this box over here. I told you my eyes were still not. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm just going to go over it. I know. But you know what? At the end of the day, you cannot tell. There we go. And let me mark those 2 as not done. Symbol, these ones. Not done. So I will come back and get those. Okay. So that one is done. Don't send the crochet police on me for just stitching over it. I can't be bothered. For one stitch, it's not even going to be visible. Once I add the stitches on either side, you won't even see that. So and if you're looking at my stitching at the individuals, you know, once it's a finished object and you're looking at my stitches, my individual stitches, then you're looking far too closely. Okay, mark these off. So, what did you guys do this weekend? This weekend, like I said, I went to the cottage and we did the closeout stuff. Put all the linens and everything in the sauna, which is completely mouse proof. And just put things away, got rid of all the food, did all the water stuff, blah, blah, blah. Just kind of winterizing it. But I did have time to do some stitching. So on the way there, so I had what I thought I was going to do actually. So I have on the way there, I have a 3 to 3.5 hour drive, depending on the traffic. So we have a 3.5 hour drive there and a 3.5 hour drive back. And what I thought I was going to do was stitch on Dragons of the Sabbat, which is a pattern by Pain Free Crafts. It's a retired pattern. The artwork is by Anne Stokes. And I am still working on getting all 100% of the black finished this year. So I think I'm at the point where I have to do like 1,000 stitches a week in order to make that happen, which is totally doable. But what I also ended up bringing The Sorceress with me by Joan Elliott. Just going to mark these off. Yeah, I brought the Sorceress by Joan Elliott with me, and I ended up stitching on that project all the way there. So I put in 3.5 hours. I put in, it's quite a bit. It was quite a bit of, I'm going to go to a different color so you guys can see a little bit better. All right. Sorry, bear with me for a sec here. Okay, well, I'm going to do another yellow for now, just to finish up over here. Anyways, so I thought I was going to work on Dragons of the Sabbat all the way there and all the way back. And then plus at the cottage. But I ended up working on the Sorceress all the way there. So I put in a good 3 hours going there, which was fantastic. So I was really happy to get progress on that project. Come on now. Do you guys keep short bits like this? Apparently I do. Because there's always areas where you just have to do a couple of stitches, and I don't like starting a big long piece for just a couple of stitches, so I tend to do it with these short ones and then just throw out the rest. Anyway, so I did that, and then while I was at the cottage, I just worked on dragons, although I didn't do that much. And then I worked all the way on the drive all the way back, which was an extra 1.5 hours than normal because we had to go over to Quebec to pick up my husband's craft beer order. My husband is a big craft beer person. So we had to do that. And it worked out great because it's starting to get dark now at about 7:30, which really sucks. That's one way we know how fall is here, or autumn. The drive took us to Quebec, where we had to pick up the order, and by the time we got there, the light was just fading, so I was able to do a little when we were actually at the place, because we ended up staying for a little bit, having a little snacky snack, and then drive home. In the drive home, I did not stitch because it was too dark. Okay, next color is 734. another green. And another piece, although this one is not super short. So on Dragons of the Sabbat, I have hit the 39.5% mark, which is great. How many stitches of black do I have left? I have about 12,000 stitches of black. Those are half stitches. I just count them as stitches because that's what they are. I know some people count them as half stitches, or like, of course they're half stitches, but some people count them as, like, they divide it in half, because for Stitchy Games and whatnot on Facebook, that's what you have to do. You have to count them, you have to divide them in half, because you count full crosses only. But I don't. I just count them as stitches. I can't be bothered to do that math. It's not really, I don't really care. Honestly, I count my stitches because I am a goal-oriented person, and I like to see progress. So that's it for now of this one. So yeah, so if honestly, if I have to count stitches, then I'm not going to do it, because number one, I can't be bothered. Number two, it wouldn't be accurate, because I would, forget to count or whatever. I just can't be bothered. So on my non-full, any piece of mine that is not on Markup RXP, I don't count, because hang on, so sorry, one sec. Because I can't be bothered. But anything that is on Markup RXP, I don't need to do any counting at all. Markup RXP does it all. If you're not familiar with Markup RXP, I don't know if Pattern Keeper does this. I'm sure it does, but I have no idea. But okay, over here. There's a dashboard page for every project that gives you different statistics, and one of those is, how many stitches you've done to date, how many stitches remain, how many stitches you do on average per day of stitching, not overall. Yeah, so it gives me that information, so I don't need to calculate those things. And then, just because I like I said, I'm a goal-oriented person in general, so when I make goals to say, oh, I want to get half of this project done, I don't really care if it's 45% or 55%, but I want to get, approximate, close to that number. Then I kind of need to know how many stitches remain, right? Or how many stitches I need to do on a weekly basis in order to get that goal accomplished. Does So it's just for me. It's not for anything else really. 2, 3, 4. Oops. So yeah, I know a lot of you have said to me that you don't count stitches at all, and you know, that's fantastic. No stress. This is supposed to be a no stress hobby, right? 5, 2, 3. This is supposed to be a no stress hobby, so that's why I don't count myself. Because if I had to do that, then I would totally stress. Because I would get it wrong all the time. I would forget. So some stitches would get counted, some stitches wouldn't get counted on the same project, and it would just be completely wrong. And that would stress me out. So yeah, so anything that's not in Markup RXP doesn't get counted. I really don't care. I am more than happy to just stitch on those when I stitch on them. Okay, I'm gonna park this down here. Oh. Can I travel all the way down here? Nope, we're pretty much done. Okay. I'll park it with this one. Okay, so let's pick another one. Go back to these 2 lines. $37.70. I'm gonna apologize because it is a cream color, as you can see, so you won't be able to see much. I'm doing this project, by the way, on 28 count linen. I don't know where this came from. I think I don't know, actually. It's nothing special. I think it was just called, was it antique white or white chocolate or something? I don't know. It's an off-white, as you can see. Okay, so we've got 2 stitches here. This loose fabric here is really driving me crazy. Luckily, I only have a couple of stitches here. And then we go all the way over here. Yeah, so what else can we talk about? I'm still aiming to get this project finished by the end of the year. Oh, okay, that's done all the way to the end there. Okay, yeah, I'm still planning to get this project done by the end of the year. I know what I was talking about at one point, and then I never finished my train of thought. I got distracted. So this is what happens to me as well. And my optometrist tells me that that is actually part of, well, I guess it's part of the brain fog that's caused by migraines, because I do have a migraine, unfortunately. But it's also this vision and eye thing, because I am someone who sees, how my memory works is I have to see it. I have to see something. I'm a visual learner. That's what I was trying to say. A visual learner. And so, even in school and stuff, like how I had to, how I studied was to write things down. And then once I wrote things down, then I would remember it. But what happens is when you have these issues with your brain-eye coordination, like I am, then that storage doesn't work, because my brain, like I said, my eyes are telling my brain a different story. Like the signals aren't they aren't working together. So anyway, so then it just messes up my short-term memory and then my long-term memory, blah blah blah. So hopefully one of the things that will improve as my brain-eye coordination improves will be my memory as well. And part of it also is, just brain fog from the migraines and brain fog from being tired and whatever. I don't know, whatever. It's just me, guys. This right now is my reality. So I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just explaining why that is and why my brain, I was going to say also the ADHD. But you see, I totally lose my train of thought even while I'm speaking. So what I was trying to say earlier, sorry, I'm just marking off these things. What I was trying to say earlier, oh my God, did I totally forget again? You would think I was making this up, honestly. I lost it again. Oy vey. So if we ever meet in person and I interrupt you, please know I'm not trying to be rude, and I do my best not to. It's just because I forget what it is that I have to say. If I don't say it, then in there. Oh well. Tis what it is. Okay, it's actually come back to me. So I was talking about, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. This is such a disaster. Unfortunately, this is just me right now. If you want, anyway, I'm getting distracted again. What I was talking about was that this week, so 1, 2, 3, I'm trying to catch up on, so I want to make sure that this project gets done by the end of the year, just because I'm at the point where, I might as well, at this point, get it done. And I had missed 2 weeks because of all the traveling I was doing and just life being super busy. So last week, after my floss tube, I actually did catch up. So I did 2 weeks worth of stitching last week. Some of my other projects, in my focus projects, took a backseat, which is okay, because those just have stitchy goals and I can always catch up. Well, once this project is done, I can always catch up. And once I've done my all the black on Dragons of the Sabbat, I can also, that will also leave me with a little bit more time to catch up on some of my other projects. But there was 2 projects I wanted to get back into the swing, into well, I just wanted to catch up on the weekly goals because it's a lot of stitching, and if I don't, I think like Home Sweet Home went up to like 18 or 1900 stitches, which is just crazy to me to get done in a week. It's a lot, and I don't want to do that much. So I spent last week just catching up on those 2 projects to bring down the monthly goal, or I'm sorry, the weekly goal. So I did it for this project. So now I am, today being Monday, we're in the new week, so I'm catching up. I'm not catching up, I'm working on this week's goal, which is good. I want to get this finished sooner rather than later. So that I do free up time to put into some of my other focus projects. My plans for next year will be a little different. Okay, I did that. Let me just mark off what I've got here. My plans for next year will be a little different than this year. I did do a plans video, so you can feel free to check it out. I did a video, sorry, I'm just working on marking off here. I did a Stitch With Me 2 times ago, so not last Stitch With Me, but the one before that. I actually did, I was actually, you hear my entire thought process about what I might like to do, what I might not like to do. Hang on one second. And I did miss a stitch right there. So if you're curious about how I came up with my stitchy goals for next year, you can check that out. And then in the in the regular floss tube, in the regular floss tube after that, which was not the last one, the one before that, so it's probably about number 30, floss tube number 30, I think, either 30 or 29. I kind of had those plans a little bit more set, they were a little more concrete, to the point where I had set up my spreadsheet for next year already. Although I'm realizing that I'm gonna have to edit it because of all these new starts that I've got. They're not on that list, so I have to go through and add them, because on my spreadsheet I have all my lists, all my WIPs, works in progress, listed out. So I'm gonna have to edit that, but that's fine. That won't take me too long. So yeah, so they'll be a little different. Have you guys made plans for next year? Or I mean, it's still only, well, today's September 30th, so there's still 3 whole months before we get to next year. Although, judging by how the rest of the year has gone, it'll be here tomorrow. This year has just absolutely flown by. Now, catching up. Speaking of catching up on projects, I'm going to, so in the next couple of weeks, I will probably work on fewer projects than normal. I will do the new start. Let me just mark these off. I will do the new start because I do want to get those done. But I probably won't be working on all of my focus projects. I'll probably just be working on this project until it's done. Home Sweet Home, because I want to stay up on that, and I do want to get to that halfway mark. Those will be the 2 primary projects that I work on, and the reason being that the next several weeks, well, basically all of October, is just crazy. It's just going to be extremely busy. I've got a lot of travel coming up. I'm going to Vermont for a stitchy / knitting weekend with a friend, and our husbands are coming along as well. They're going to go, while we do the our knitting thing, our husbands are going craft beer hopping. We'll probably join them as well at some point. So we're doing that. I'll probably just bring my knitting and try to catch up on the sweater that I had started with my friend and hasn't moved in a little bit. And then we're also going overseas to visit my family, which is fabulous. Can't wait for that. Work has been busy. Oh, I have a funny story about work. Okay, let's see. I don't need to park this. I have enough stitches here that I can bury the end. There we go. And let me just clip the tail. I've gotten decent at burying the end and clipping the tail without having to look. So that's fun. Okay, where am I here? Let me just make sure I've got myself set up properly. So those, and did I do the above one? Nope, I can hear my son coughing. He's got such a terrible cough. I'm gonna have to book him for an appointment because apparently he isn't going to take the initiative to do it. Okay, that one. Sorry, where am I? I'm over here. And I did those 2 and that one up there. Okay. And these 3. Okay, good. All right. back to the other end. So we're going to go back all the way over here. What do we need? DMC 166. So yeah, so we've got lots of stuff happening in October and November. And then Christmas is here, and that's always a crazy time. We got also Thanksgiving in there. Which is unlike in the US, I think the US Thanksgiving is in November sometime. Canadian Thanksgiving is in October. I think it's only a couple of weekends from now. I'm also doing another psychic show, so I'm excited about that. Oh, and I'm doing, yeah, anyways, lots of stuff happening. So hence why I say that I won't be working on as many projects. I want to make sure that I get Merry Mushroom Village done, because I've gotten to this point now. I want to make sure it gets finished, because if it doesn't get finished now after I've done all of this, I will be aggravated. I just will. I know I will, because I've kept up. I made it one of my focus projects, and I kept up all year long. So to fail at this point would just irritate me to no end, and I probably would just put it aside and wouldn't finish it. As we've talked about before, this isn't a project that I would have picked for myself ordinarily. But honestly, there weren't that many. Sorry, I'm just scrolling again because I finished all the ones down there, so I want to see where the other stitches are. This isn't a chart that I would have picked. If I was just looking for another hay chart, I wouldn't have picked this one. But they're just, I mean, there was a variety. There was 10 charts, so it's not like there weren't any charts to pick from. I should have picked the dragon. I don't know why I didn't, but anyways, I think I picked this one because it looked, and again, this is just stupid me not thinking, but it looked like it had a lot of solid, like more block stitching, not quite so much confetti. So I thought this one maybe looked the easiest out of all of them. I'm over here. Okay. And 4 in the second one down. 4. And of course, like, I don't know where my brain was at that point, because it's a Heaven and Earth design. It's an Amy Stewart. So of course there's going to be quite a bit of confetti, that's fine. But all that to say is, if I don't, like, because I've been keeping up with it until this point, if I stop keeping up with it, then I'm going to be irritated at the end, and I may just put it down and not work on it again. I wouldn't put it past myself to do that. And then that would irritate me, because it's a project that is close to being finished, so why not finish it? But it's just not my favorite project, right? So I wouldn't be really motivated to do it. I would move to something else. Ew. Such struggles, eh? Not really. Really, I have nothing to complain about. I'm not complaining. I'm just giving you a little insight into my thought processes. Which I'm sure don't make sense to anybody else but me. Really, it just comes down to we're at the end of it, and I don't want to fail at the end. Okay, so in terms of what charts I would choose from Heaven and Earth Designs, if and when I'm going to say when I finish this, before December 31st. So if you finish it, you get all 10 charts that were offered, minus the dragon, because that was a Sheena Pike chart, and Sheena Pike was retired from Haid, so that chart's no longer available. They will be replacing it with a different chart. Sorry, hold on one second. I'm just... Okay. So yeah, so they replaced it with a different chart, which I think is a gnome. Plus you get to pick your two. You get to pick your two charts, whatever you want, off their website. And I know one of the ones that I would pick. It is, I'm blanking on who the artist is. I think it's Michael something. Sorry, I'm just looking for where... Oh, they're at the end. Okay. I think it's Michael something. So we have to skip 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's down there. Okay. So I'm gonna travel and just park it there. Michael Watson, maybe? Okay, I'm just gonna park that there. Let me mark it off as parked. Nope, wrong one. Okay. I think Michael Watson is the right one. So he has come out recently with some patterns of flags, and I'm not really a patriotic stitcher, but this chart is just so beautiful. It's got all these roses and stuff. It's all these flowers around, and the flag itself is in a heart shaped, and it looks like it's a 3D. Kind of looks like a 3D heart. So it looks really beautiful. So I'm thinking that will be one of them. As for the other one, I don't know. I haven't gone to look yet. And I'm going to leave that for I'm going to leave that decision for when I'm closer to the end here. Because maybe it'll be what happens to me when a project is almost finished. And this goes for any project. So it goes for projects, like cross-stitching projects, it goes for knitting, it goes for crochet. The closer to the, like, as we get to the end, it's like I don't want to finish it. Especially if it's something that I really enjoyed working on. It's like I don't want to finish it. Or I just am running out of steam because I want it to be done like yesterday. And that last little bit seems to take like 90% of the effort for me. I don't know why. And that, oops, that was kind of the reason behind my challenge with Alara on dragons. So we're both working on that project, and I just needed, challenges give me motivation, so I just needed a little bit of motivation to get me through that last 30,000 stitches. So what did I say I have now? 12,000 or something. I'm getting there, getting there. Okay, where are the other 18 stitches? All right, we're back over here. I hope I'm not making you guys dizzy with this moving back and forth between the bottom corner and over here. I apologize if I am. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 4. I'm really sorry if I am. I just would really rather finish the thread than put it back on the organizer. Apparently there's only 18 of these stitches, so I've just done another 5. Okay. The next one's over here. Well, which one? Is it that one? Nope, it's that one. So I'm going to end this thread here. Okay. And then the next one. Hold, please. Yeah, it's this one here. So it's 1, 2, and I'm just going to park it because there's just one stitch and then it goes up here somewhere. So I'm just going to leave that one until then. Okay. So you see, I do park a little bit, but it's really just for that because I don't want to just do the one stitch and then put this away, because I don't want to count all like too far in, and I know it's going into the Q-snap area. So I'm just going to leave it there. Okay, and there's just one stitch left over there. 905. Those of you who've watched me before are probably like, what are you doing parking? You don't park. I rarely park, but I do occasionally. Where it makes sense. I love, speaking of parking, I have tried parking I have tried doing diagonal parking or diagonals with parking. I have tried other parking methods, royal rows and whatnot. I can't even think of them all now. But it's just not for me. Seeing all, like, yeah. So I'll do it where it makes sense to me, but I don't want to do it as a rule. I don't want to do it as a rule because it just, I don't know, it just makes me crazy. I had to do one stitch and then end that thread. And I really need to fix this Q-snap. Okay, so now all right. I really like, in terms of like conceptually, I like things like the royal rose and like oops, hang on. Like the royal rose and like diagonal stitching in a sort of cross-country style. I was kind of doing the royal rose in a bit of cross-country too, just within the 2x2 or 4x4 boxes. But I was with the royal rose, I was starting to get lines, so I stopped that. And I also found it aggravating when, you know, if you stick to that mode, where if you're only working on this one tower or like this 2x2 tower, if that stitch isn't over here, like if, you know, if you're ready to park a thread and it's down here, then you park it down here. But meanwhile, there may be another one of those over here. So then you're starting another thread for really the same thing. So you end up having like multiple threads in adjacent columns. And that was driving me crazy. Because unless I took the time to figure out how many stitches there were in the next, like it might just be one stitch. And then that's it for that column. Right? So it was driving me crazy on top of the lines. Theoretically, I like the diagonal stitching with like doing it in a cross-country kind of way. So cross-country within that diagonal. I would do a 20 stitch wide diagonal, not just a 10 stitch, just to give me that extra room. Kind of like that. And that actually, I think that actually would alleviate that issue of, you know, having multiples of the same thread parked near each other, because you're working in a diagonal all the way down. What I didn't like, and again, this is just me, what I didn't like when I was doing it was that I would travel a lot. I'd have to travel a lot. So if I was doing a diagonal here, I'd have to do one here, and then maybe my next stitch was down here. And I'd have to travel a lot. So, I mean, I wouldn't have to. I could end the thread and then pick it up again down below where the stitch was. But I find that annoying when I have to do that. I like, conceptually, I like the way the Witchy Stitcher sometimes stitches, where she does kind of a snake method, like also with parking. And that's working on one entire row all the way across the piece. I do like that because I like that you get to see, I did say the Stitchy Witch, right? Not the Witchy Stitcher. I like that because it pleases my organization heart, I guess. It just seems like a really civilized, nice way to do things. But just that many threads just would drive me crazy. And it seems to me to be slower. Sorry, I think I made a mistake here. Hold on, sorry. Yep, I did. These are one stitch too low. What was I saying? One of the things I like about cross country is that it's quick. It's quick. You don't have threads everywhere. Now, all this stuff I don't like having. I don't like these. But at the time, I just didn't have enough threads around that area to bury the thread. That's why I did that. But where I can avoid it, I do. All right, give me a second here. Give me these three. Isn't it funny how, or like funny as in interesting, not funny, haha. I was just picking colors over here to fill in this. So just from the beginning, I was picking colors in here and then using the rest over here. And I find it interesting how they all bunch up. Even though I'm not doing that on purpose. Okay, so this is done. Let me just mark off a little bit here. Okay, I have to mark off these two squares. Yeah, I just find that funny how that works. Stitchy Games. Do you guys play Stitchy Games on Facebook in the different groups? There are so many. There's so many groups. So many different games. They're fun games. And I have played various ones off and on. I typically like to give them you know, at least a few months each before deciding to move on. But what I have come to the realization, and I've come to this realization through Whip Warriors. So in Whip Warriors, which it is a closed group, but actually it should be opening up sometime in November, I think, for more, for anyone who wants to sign up. They keep it open until sometime in December. Till sometime in December, and then they close it again for the next year. And they have a bunch of games as well that they do. But you don't have to play the games. You can just do your stitching and have your album and just keep uploading progress from your stitching. I don't think that that's something that, I don't think it was really meant for that. Hang on one second. I think I have to park this now. So we have to skip 1, 2, and then we're over here, and it's number 5. Ugh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm gonna park that. Oh, this thing is driving me crazy. Okay, let me mark it. But anyway, the whole group is meant to motivate you to work on your whip. So you can choose different, they have like 3 different scenarios that you can choose at the beginning when you're signing up. Okay, hold on one sec. I need 310. I should have 310 here somewhere. Oh, I actually have some here. Okay. Sorry, when I mean I actually have some here, I have some on the floss. On the floss organizer. Usually I don't put 310 on the floss organizers because I have this, which was the Hearts for Pam organizer, and I load that up with 310, and I just have that with me always in my little stitchy kit. Anyway, back to Whip Warriors. You could choose 3 different from one of 3 different streams. So this year there was a 24 and 24, so maybe next year will be a 25 and 25, where you choose 24 whips that you're going to focus on. And I think there was no new starts in there. Or maybe that's just another stream, is there's no starts. I don't recall exactly what they were. And then there's the Stitch What You Want When You Want stream, which is exactly as it says, stitch what you want when you want. The whole purpose is just to get you, is to motivate you to keep working on your whips and making progress. So you have an album that you set up at the beginning of the year with whatever projects you're going to work on. And then once every couple of months or whatever, you upload your progress. And they have a couple of games. I think this year they were traveling around Australia. And you can win different notions and thread, like not actual ones, but like little patterns for little notions and threads and things, for the little pattern that which is a sewing kit that they've put together as a reward for people who are making progress. If you don't make progress, then you actually get kicked out of the group. So they are hardcore about that, which is, it's great. I have not been taking part in the games, most of the games. I think I've done a couple that I think they've had a categories one or something similar. And I have taken part in a couple of those, but mostly I just have my projects. I have my album with my projects, and then I go and I upload progress when I want, because I really like having the album of just my stitchy progress, so that I can scroll down and see in a year like what it was at the beginning of the year, where my projects were at, and where I am at any point in time through the year. I like that. I wish we could have an album in Facebook or Instagram where we could just post that. I mean, I know we can. I do post progress on Instagram periodically, but it's not an album, right? It's not, you'd have to scroll. You have a lot of scrolling to do in order to get to say the previous year's progress to see, and then to be able to compare it with the current year. I don't know if any of that makes any sense. Anyhow, and I guess I could set up an album for myself just on my phone, but the albums don't seem to work for me on my phone. So where am I? Skip to, okay. So at one point I had joined all these Stitchy games because I was excited about them and I was motivated, to stitch and whatnot. And they were a lot of fun. But at some point they got very overwhelming for me. And I just want to stitch. And what I found was that I was spending a lot of time posting before pictures and posting after pictures and trying to remember to include code words, and then I wouldn't, and then so something wouldn't count, and then it's just fake internet points, right? So at some point I got so overwhelmed and I just stopped all of them, and I will take part going forward. I'll just take part in like one or maybe two. So we'll see. I am in the Myth and Magic one right now, because it's just it just takes place over a week or two. So it's an intense amount of stitching, but just over a shorter time. So that's good. Yeah. I always have good intentions of playing all these games, and then I get overwhelmed, and then I just shut down, which is not fair to other people I'm playing with. So for 2025, I am going to take part in only a couple of Stitchy games. Hold on one second. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm only going to take part in a couple Stitchy games. I will join Whip Warriors again because I do like I said, I really love seeing the progress. Because you're posting one picture and then commenting with progress updates, right? So with other pictures. So it's just a quick and easy way to see your progress and get motivated. So I'm going to do that. The other Myth and Magic, I'm not sure about. I haven't decided about that one yet. I don't know. Like there's so many. I'm only gonna do one or two at a time, I think. And I can't. I'm blanking now. I know full coverage stitchers. There's one, I can't remember if it's semi-sane stitchers or full coverage stitchers, which has the Stitch to the Moon. challenge where you're stitching the with your team, you're stitching the number of stitches that equal kilometers to the moon. I like those kinds of things because you're contributing to something long term, so I don't have to worry if I don't, if I don't stitch for a week, it's not a big deal. Or if I forget to post, it's not a big deal because it's a long haul, not just a short sprint. So I do have a team for that. And I don't know, everything else is just going to be sort of as and when. And I'm not going to put pressure on myself because it's supposed to be fun, not a job. So yeah. I'm still trying to figure out what this is, what all this is down here. Can't quite figure it out, and I haven't gone to look. Oops. Nope. I haven't gone to look on the picture. I try not to look at the picture. How about you guys? Do you guys like continue to look at the picture as you're going? Like if you're not sure what something is, do you go look? I tend to not, because I like being surprised when it finally comes into view. I don't know. I find that fun. Okay, what else have we got here? Hang on one second. Okay. Gonna end this thread. Yeah, I like being surprised, but sometimes I can't resist and I do look. So what I'm going to do, we're almost at 2 hours, which is longer than I had anticipated. I can't believe I've spoken for 2 hours and I completely forgot about my coffee too. Blech, I don't like cold coffee. Okay, what I'm going to do is I am going, excuse me, I'm going to finish this thread and then I will end the video. So thank you all for keeping me company. I really appreciate it. Appreciate you all watching. I hope you've gotten a lot of stitching done in whatever craft you are working on. I am going to, once this thread is done, which I still have quite a few stitches to do, but once this thread is done, I'm going to put my stitching away for a while and I'm going to go do some laundry and clean my house because unfortunately, don't have a maid and I do have teenagers in the house, so they tend to make a big mess. And hopefully you can't hear my son coughing and hacking. Okay, got those. And then we've got 3 here. I don't know, I might later on, once I've got my cleaning and laundry and stuff done, I might do my new start, the gazebo path. Sorry, like I said, I don't know if that's exactly what it's called or not. But I might get that, I might just get the new start started. Okay, 1, 2, 3. See, I haven't got the, or maybe what I'll do is I'll just get it organized with the threads and fabric. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that big of a project. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's not that big of a project actually, which is nice. So I might actually have a chance at finishing it someday. Will I have new starts next year? Probably, because I still have, I don't know, there must be at least 40 or so projects on the wheel. And I plan on continuing that bi-weekly. At least for now, I'm going to continue the bi-weekly new start. I might get tired of it at some point. I don't know. But until I do, I'm going to continue. Doesn't stop me from buying new patterns, a la Sunset at Hogsmeade. There was another pattern which I saw, which was Harry Potter themed, which was as a tribute to Dame Maggie Smith, who just passed away the other day. I almost bought it, but it wasn't one of those, oh, I must have. So I didn't buy it. Might I regret it? Possibly. But really, what I really want to do is the Rusty Cauldron. Because that cat also makes me think of Professor McGonagall. Yeah. I gotta say, I wasn't crazy about how the Harry Potter series ended. I did read The Cursed Child as well. I don't know if you guys read that. Oh, I thought it was interesting, but it wasn't. I don't know. I think it was just kind of like beating a dead horse at some points. Yeah. Anyways, what are you guys up to? Are you still stitching? Did you get a lot of stitching done? I hope you did. I know I've yammered on for a long time. I can't believe I've yammered on for this long. Guys, if you meet me in real life, ever, I am not, I'm an introvert, and I don't tend to say a lot. I mean, I do when I have something to say, but I tend to listen more than I speak, so this is why I'm kind of surprising myself that I do these videos. Okay, one sec here. So we've got 4 up, 3 in. Oh, I have to take this fabric out of here. It's driving me crazy. I know, like 2, 3, 4. I also have to extend the lines. So I'll do that when I take it out as well. So this is the actual bottom of the piece right there, which is nice. Okay, where am I here? Hang on. Come on now. Okay. All right. Let's see here. So we've done those. Come down here. So I am using CXC floss for the most part on this project. And I keep hearing about, hang on one sec, 1, 2, 3. I keep hearing about Royal Broidery floss and how that is much closer to DMC. I don't know if that's true or not. That's what I've heard. But I've not tried it yet. And part of the reason I haven't tried it is because I haven't been able to find it. Like where, oops, sorry. Just jostled you guys. I haven't been able to find it. I don't know where you purchase it from. I've tried to do some searching up. So do you use Royal Broidery floss? I'd love to hear your experience with it. And also where you buy it. And is it is the cost comparable to CXC? Because that's a big reason of why I use CXC, is because it is significantly more affordable than DMC. So yeah, let me know. If you have a link drop it down below for me and for anyone else who might be watching and interested. I order my CXC floss from AliExpress. Comes pretty quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. It comes pretty quick. I do like the coverage on it. It's a little fuzzier. I don't know if you can tell, but it is a little fuzzier than DMC, which I am okay with because, like I said, it does provide more coverage that way. 1, 2. I recently had to place an order for, well, I just did it this weekend actually, I was missing a ton. I was missing like 200 colors, believe it or not. And it got to the point where, so what I was doing, if you watch my floss tubes, you'll probably recall that behind me on the closet doors are a bunch of floss organizers for different projects. And so I do kit up a lot of my projects. Not all of them, but a good portion of them I kit up. And what I was doing at the beginning, hang on one sec here. What did I do? Oops. Okay, I don't know why I only did part of them for some reason. Anyway, what I was doing at the beginning was putting pretty much an entire skein of thread in each project. Third one over, no. Pretty much an entire skein of thread for each color. So some of my projects, like especially the Supersize Max color ones, have an awful lot of floss. Well, what I was doing, then I started to still kit up my projects, but I would go through the floss usage charts, and if it only said, you know, they would typically say, okay, you need half a skein or whatever. So then I was only putting half a skein, and then the rest would go into my master set. So I was doing that, and then, hold on one second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to park this one right here. Okay. And let me mark it off. Oops. Okay. So what I would do, yeah, so the rest would go into my master set. And then what I started doing was going through and placing only, well, for some of the smaller projects anyways, I would place just a few strands, and then when I needed more, I would go get more from my master set. But then I was worried about, well, I would only do that where I wasn't too worried about color differences. So if I was in a high, if there was a lot of confetti in the project, then I would do that, because you're not going to see the color difference. If there's a lot of block stitching, I wouldn't do that. But anyway, so then what I was doing was when I would run out of a color, whenever I ran out of color, I would first go to my master set, finish all that stuff. So I had, yeah, a good 200 colors that I was missing from my master set by this point. And then I would go to when I ran out of those, I would go to the kitted floss for the other projects, especially ones that have been on hold, like Magic Study and Birds, Butterflies, and Bloom's World Map, and Mountain Cabin, which have a lot of floss on them. And I would use floss from there. And then I started running out of some of that. So anyway, so I finally went through, I took time last week to go through all of my master set and all of the empty flosses that I had, wrote them all down, wrote down all the ones that I was missing in my projects as well, my active projects. I didn't go through all of my projects, just the 5 or 6 that are currently active. And made a list and ordered just those threads. I didn't want to order a whole new kit just because there's some threads that don't get used very often, right? So I end up with a lot of skeins that just end up sitting there, and I don't want to do that. And I did also order a cone of $37.99, and that is for my Long Dog sampler that I want to start at some point this year, hopefully, which is Saga. I'm going to do it in 2 colors. One is silk called Mood from Silks For You. And then the arches and whatnot I'm going to do in the $37.99. So that's why I ordered that floss, because on that project I would not want to have different dye lots of an issue. Anyways, so I think we're done. We did quite a bit. How many stitches did I do? I did 512 stitches. Again, they're half stitches. My project is 36.6% complete. So that's awesome. Makes sense, right? So we've got 1, 2, 3 quarters and about a quarter left, plus just a couple of rows down here. Done. So I think that's it for now. I'm going to go do some laundry and get something to eat because I haven't eaten yet today. And I'll see you next week in my regular floss tube. I hope you've enjoyed. I hope you've had a lot of fun. Let me know what you got accomplished and what projects you were working on so I can continue to be enabled. And we'll talk soon. Bye.